Dunketsu had found kindness in those children who helped them. The four were there in that shed and finished eating. Dunketsu looks at Raito and asks, "Why do you live in this place?" Raito then tells a bit of his story, and a flashback begins.
When I was little, I lived with my mother, who did everything to take care of me. But we lived alone, and my father, well, I don't know who my father is. My mother used to tell me that he was long gone, so I never met him.
Wright was poor boy who lived in a city where people didn't care much about those who didn't have money. Raito had a difficult life, having to help his mother to take care of the house and work from an early age.
Hey, how's it going? Just here to remind you to click the like button, subscribe here to the channel so you don't miss any videos, and stay well inside our entire universe of Dragon Ball. Let's get back to the point. Raito's mother worked in the rice fields. When she left for work, she always left Raito around. She would take him so he wouldn't have to be alone, so she would work and stay with him, moving him around. And when she arrived exhausted from work, she still took care of the house and her son. That sweet, struggling woman who did everything for her son had lost her husband in an accident, where the criminal had committed a robbery. They fled, and while the two crossed the street near an alley, they lost control of the car, thus running over. Since then, she had to take care of Raito on her own. And when Raito asked what happened to his father, she preferred to say that he was long gone after all. She didn't have the courage to tell the truth. However, with the passage of time, Raito had already managed to discover the truth, and so he didn't say anything to his mother because he didn't want to see her sad. One day, the tiredness was unbearable, and that woman's destiny was set. She had got a new job where she could go back to living a normal life. Having a normal life. But in this work, she could not take Raito, and she would have to leave him alone. And as difficult as that decision was, she decides that she needed to become someone different with conditions to be able to help her son. However, the next day, while she was working and having Raito alone at home, she was robbed. And after saying that she had no money and that she needed to leave, she ended up getting shot. That took her life. This way, Raito ended up alone for quite a while. Until one day, while he was hungry, he decided to steal food so he could eat. But unfortunately, Raito wasn't very good at stealing. Until one fateful moment, he was caught stealing some fruit. And it was at this moment that Raito was in trouble. The owner of the grocery store that Raito was robbing called two bigger boys to take care of the matter. Those young people take Raito to an alley where they intended to beat him up so he never steals again. But after throwing Raito on top of several garbage bags, the boy intends to finish him off by beating him until he learns his lesson. At this moment, the young people throw him against the wall. One of the boys picks up an iron bar that was lying there on the floor, and the other holds Raito against the wall, stretching his arm, and then says, "Now you will learn never to steal again." I will hit his arm until he falls. And when the boy was about to strike the first blow, the boy takes a stone to the head. The other holding Raito stops and watches, while feeling a trash thrown at him, hitting him directly. Two other street children, Heiwa, Nozomi, saved him and decides to accompany them. And in this way, they started to be like brothers. Heiwa, Nozomi had been street kids for a long time as they could remember, and didn't have a glorious or adventurous story to tell. They stole food to survive, and when they were paid, they fled to another place. Until one day, Raito and his friends decided that they shouldn't steal even if they were starving. They would always try to work through whatever it was, so they could take care of each other. Until the three found a poor community in that city, where they could always find leftover food or old clothes thrown in the trash. And in this way, they survived until now. Dunketsu, hearing the story, feels a tear run down his face. Then he looks at Raito and says, "I don't know what this is, but my chest feels weird. There's something stuck in my throat, and my eyes are leaking. What's happening to me?" Raito then responds by saying, "You're crying. That's a feeling when you're sad. I'm sorry. I didn't mean to make you sad." Dunketsu replies, I don't even know what's happening to me. I just know it hurts a lot. Raito says,
Don't worry, we're fine. No need to be sad. I found the brother and sister that life gave me. This is my family, and this is my home. And when I grow up, I will be able to work and take care of them.
Meanwhile, far away, Piccolo decides to train nearer the sea. At that time, Piccolo decides to train a fighting move. He had to improve his combat skills, so Piccolo takes it and drops it to the ground and starts delivering several blows. However, it is difficult to train in a melee battle without an opponent. At that time, Piccolo misses Gohan and says, I should have agreed to train with him. Elsewhere, we see Vegeta returning to training for the tournament. Vegeta is training hard, and he feels that he's becoming more powerful than Goku. Vegeta says, Now yes, Kakarot, your powers don't even compare to mine. Vegeta shows off his fist and raises towards his face and says, I will defeat you, Kakarot, you'll see. So Vegeta continues his training. He concentrates his ki and manages to pass to his Saiyan transformation. He continues to focus his ki and transitions into his second transformation, and he starts laughing. Kakarot, I will defeat you and prove that I'm more stronger than you. While we see Goten and Trunks training, trying to improve their fusion. At this time, with the fusion done, they intend to keep it in Super Saiyan 3 longer. At this time, the boys start to get irritated and think it would never work. So Goten says,
Trunks, let's try it again. We have to get strong to do our best in this tournament.
So they get ready and start to concentrate and start the steps again and finally get the perfect fusion. And right now, the two begin to celebrate and say,
We finally made it! Now we can win!
Meanwhile, number 18 and Krillin's training is getting more and more intense. Number 18 says,
Krillin, come at me with everything you've got.
So Krillin answers,
Are you sure, sweetie? I don't want to have to hurt you.
Number 18, embarrassed, says,
You will never hurt me, baby.
Then Krillin goes towards number 18, shooting some spheres of ki. Number 18 manages to dodge it all. The smoke clears. She sees Krillin in front of her with a blow that hits her on the cheek, and soon after then, he takes it and delivers a Kienzan. Number 18 quickly dodges Krillin's attacks and fights back. She hits him with several kicks and blows. So she takes Krillin and throws him away against a rock, and then with her speed she catches up with him and starts shooting several blows. At this time, Krillin and number 18 are fighting an incredible fight, but number 18, who has more strength than Krillin, hits him in the face with a punch that makes him dizzy. So Android 18 says,
That's enough, my love. Let's go home. That's good for today.
Krillin agrees with number 18 and the two go home. So we can see not very confident Mr. Satan, who is worried, and now. So we can see a not very confident Mr. Satan, who is worried, as now there are only 4 days left for the tournament. Mr. Satan says, Oh my god, oh my god, oh my god, oh my god, Boo, I'm going to die. I know, Boo, I will give up. There's still time. At that time, Boo responds,
No, Mr. Satan, you cannot cancel the tournament. I already told you. I'll let you win.
Anguished because now there are only 4 days left for the tournament, everyone is anxious and training hard for the big day. To be continued. Will the Z Warriors be able to complete their training? What is Dunketsu going to do now that he got new friends? Regardless of what it is more than important that you already expose it here in your comments so that we can enter into that crazy debate. Click the like button, subscribe to the channel so you don't miss any videos. And that's it for today. I'll see you in the next one. Goodbye.